Okay, so my first piece of advice when completing these derivative problems, pretty much any problem in chapter 3, is to have this calculus cheat sheet printed out from the first module, and you're going to jump to page 3 and basically look at the bottom half of the page. So this has all your derivative rules and your common derivatives. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to notice is that I have two functions here, one nested inside the other. So basically a composition of two functions. The inner function here is tangent of x. The outer function is ln of x. So you can think of this as f of x is equal to g of h of x. I have some inner function and some outer function. The outer function is the ln of x. The inner function is tan x. So if I were to take the composition of this, replace or find g of h of x, replace x and g with this, you get ln of tan x. So this just means that to find the derivative, I'm going to have to use the chain rule. So to apply the chain rule, I'm going to start by finding just the derivative of the outer function, leaving the inside the way it is. So I need to find the derivative of ln of x. Well, from the formula sheet, the derivative of ln of x is 1 over x. And whatever this thing is inside, you just leave it as where the x is. So the derivative of ln of tan x is going to be 1 over tan x times, this is by the chain rule, which again is also on the formula sheet. I took the derivative of the outer function, leaving the inner function the way it is, times the derivative of the inner function. Now I have to multiply this thing by the derivative of tan x. Derivative of tan x is secant squared x. Okay, so in a lot of problems, maybe problems you did in 162 and problems we're going to do in this course, I have to figure out which one of these trig expressions is the same as this trig expression. Whenever I'm asked to do that, I think the easiest way to go about it is to write all of the trig functions in terms of sines and cosines. Okay, I think it's just easiest to work in terms of sines and cosines. So I'm going to write tangent in terms of sine and cosine. So this is equal to 1 over tan x. Tan is sine over cosine. Secant is 1 over cosine. And this is secant squared. Okay, it looks like it's uglier, but it's actually going to end up being prettier. So moving along from here, I have 1 divided by sine over cosine. Well, I can just flip this and bring it to the top. This is equal to cosine of x over sine x times 1 over cosine squared x. All right, we're getting there. I have a cosine on top. I have a cosine squared on bottom. So this cosine will cross out with one of these. So I'm left with 1 over sine x times cosine x. Which, if you want to write this in a slightly different way, that would be 1 over sine times 1 over cosine. 1 over sine, 1 over cosine. So the final answer is secant x times cosecant x, which is the one you selected.